The 2007 ANC post-Polokwane electoral conference will have disastrous long-term implications on the political climate of the nation. People often forget the events that led Jacob Zuma to become the head of the African National Congress, his previous party. Before we continue, please take a minute of your time and hit on the subscribe button. Zuma's political career was on the verge of collapse due to legal and political disputes, but he was saved by alliance allies, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, the South African Communist Party, SACP, and ANC Youth League factions. They had had enough of Thabo Mbeki's disastrous economic policies, which excluded the working class and impoverished from the mainstream economy. Nevertheless, those who shared Mbeki's fear of being exposed for their wrongdoing by the Scorpions, the now disbanded Special Investigative Squad, banded together to back Zuma. Since Minister Bladen Zimond and his SACP allies had never been part of Mbeki's government and he was still ignoring them, they backed Zuma, who added them to his cabinet. Insofar as we may say Zuma abused them, it was they who elevated him to actual authority. Listening to the uneducated Zuma and his followers, who take great pride in praising the billionaires he created over his 2 years in power, is often humiliating. By doing this, Zuma is essentially admitting that he gave money to the criminals who helped him remove Mbeki from office in Polokwane in 2007. These millionaires are not entrepreneurs that get government assistance. They are deadly tenderpreneurs or political entrepreneurs who obtained government contracts by assassinating or bribing anybody who posed a danger to their objectives. There have been claims of money being used to purchase delegates' votes at the Polokwane Convention. I believe that the whole political system in South Africa today is tainted by Zuma alone, with individuals willingly selling their votes. African-American political entrepreneurs who have been marginalized by Cyril Ramaphosa are providing financial support to Zuma. They believe, though this is not certain, that if Zuma reclaims the Union building, they will be awarded additional government contracts. To be blind to the fact that a large number of government officials are covertly helping Zuma immobilize the ANC would be conceded. I am aware that in some municipalities in the Northwest, authorities are giving contracts to businesses controlled by Zuma's allies in Gauteng and Limpopo. The funds that sustain Zuma do not originate from his jobless followers who are provided with clothing, food, and shelter. It comes from those who want to make sure their crooked enterprises prosper and they avoid going to prison. It is depressing to see young people chasing after a fragile elderly guy who is unlikely to hold public office in the next 5 or 10 years. They should ensure that they create a better society and a strong, competitive nation for the next generation, showing that they are futuristic, envious, and self-centered with regard to their future. Once more, spokesman for the MK party Nhlamulo Ndlila said that the party would take its case to the UN Human Rights Committee in an attempt to reverse the recent constitutional court ruling against Jacob Zuma. In an interview with journalist Zoli Mgambai, Ndlila emphasized that the former president's battle is far from over. It is not where Jacob Zuma's path ends. Ndlila said, "We are presenting this issue to the United Nations Human Rights Committee in order to have it reversed." This move highlights the MK party's determination to appeal the court's decision and continue to support Zuma's political involvement. The MK party's ambitions and Zuma's political future are significantly affected by a recent verdict by the Constitutional Court, which ruled that he is not qualified to compete for parliamentary office. Ndlila emphasized, however, that the party would not accept this outcome without a battle. The party's decision to bring the matter to an international organization demonstrates its belief that Zuma's rights have been abused. By appealing to the UN Human Rights Committee, the MK party hopes to get a favorable ruling that would reverse the Constitutional Court's ruling. This revelation adds a new level of complexity to the continuing legal and political battles around Zuma. The MK party's unwavering commitment to its leader and its overall political agenda is shown by their unwavering willingness to seek international involvement. Political analysts and pundits have already started talking about the ramifications of engaging an international organization in a local court dispute as a result of Ndlila's pronouncement. We will be carefully following the United Nations Human Rights Committee's decision in this appeal, since it might set a precedent for similar situations involving political personalities and their eligibility for public office in the future.